Superboy #1, written by Scott Lobdell, art by R.B. Silva. Before anything else, I need to read this quote on the front of this trade because it's just a storyline that will leave you wanting more. Already an iffy quote, but the source is the Christian Science Monitor. I don't know what to expect from this book. I have no idea what to expect from this book. Have you ever tried predicting Scott Lobdell? It's not easy. Oh, God. Okay. So, I don't even know if I can give a synopsis of Superboy. Superboy was the name that Superman took back when in the Golden Age, they wanted to, have the young adventures of Superman, so they named him Superboy. But then, when Crisis on Infinite Earths happens, it was hard to have, Superboy was different. So, by the time they hit the death of Superman, they created a young clone of Superman named Superboy. He had his own shtick, he has his own thing going on, but one thing that eventually developed is that he's half human and half Kryptonian. And that's the one we're dealing with here. So, just jumping into it, he's in a tube. He's all hooked up, he's got wires, he's just floating in some amniotic fluid, and he doesn't know who he is or anything about himself. He doesn't know anything. He hasn't been born yet. So he's just floating in a tube, and all these scientists, he can see them. They're all running tests on him. And he's watching them, and he's picking up on them. And he says that his consciousness is spread equally throughout every cell of his body. What does that mean? I don't know, but he did. All the scientists are basically saying, look, we've reached the end of our rope here. We're not getting him to respond to anything. We're not sensing any sort of brain function because his subconscious, whatever. So he's like, we got to terminate the program. It's the only way. So there's this one redheaded scientist that I don't think ever actually has a name. Superboy just keeps calling her Red, so she's Red. There's one redheaded scientist, and she's the only one who's like, no, we can do this. Superboy, he's so close. Maybe we're just viewing this the wrong way. And the other scientist is like, it's not a he. It's an it. And we're killing him. She leaves the office. They start the termination protocols. Superboy is able to sense that something is wrong as they start pumping cyanide into his veins. He feels the burning, and then he just straight up explodes. He's got this massive telekinetic burst. It triggers all the defenses. Everything's exploding, and everyone in the lab dies except for Superboy. Red gets the doors open. She does have her name as Dr. Kate something, so it's Caitlin, I'm assuming, but I don't know her last name. Superboy, he's bald and in a Speedo. He's sensing the world finally. I love this way that it's described. It's just individual, just super quick thoughts. Hands, body, air, touch, feel, awake, freedom, sound, ear, voice, as Caitlin is talking to him. She says that he's floating, so he's then immediately gravity, acceleration. It's just all the things that he's quickly realizing, as he is hyper intelligent to some extent. Basically, he's like, okay, my name is Superboy. That's all he's able to say. 1 month later, skip straight ahead, he's enrolled in a high school somewhere in the heart of Kansas. Teacher calls him out on this question of if we were 300,000 light years from Earth and blah blah blah, when would we have to leave? And the guy, Superboy's like, well, I guess the answer would be so and so, and he just knows it. He literally lists off 2300 a.m. Mars Standard Time according to the Universal Chronal Chart established. He listed off this whole thing. He's like, I have no idea where that came from, but it's somewhere in here. He stopped by one of the girls in his class. Her name is Rose Wilson. If you know who that is, then you know who that is, but we're not there yet. Just this one line here. Haha, right? Rose Wilson, isn't it? Quote from Rose Wilson, it is, but you can call me, quote, the hot chick I'm going to walk home from school. Oh, Lobdell, you did it again. He's walking Rose home, and she goes on this whole nihilistic thing of life is just a string of random occurrences. We're born through no fault of our own, exposed to a series of endless humiliations. She's got a thing going on. They're just walking home, talking. They pass by this house that's on fire with this woman screaming help, and nobody's reacting to it. Rose makes the posit. She's like, Oh, sorry, Superboy, his cover story is that he has some form of amnesia. He remembers facts and has like a sense of self, but he doesn't actually remember who he is or where he lived or anything like that. Rose posits this point of like, well, does that amnesia affect your morality? And she's like, I don't think it does, but he's not really sure himself. We see he gets home. He's on a small Kansas farm. There's a family who's giving him dinner and all that. And he's like, wow, thanks for the dinner, you guys. It was great. I got to go get some sleep. I got some tests in the city tomorrow. And so but in his mind, he's just saying everything here is so boring. I'm so bored all the time. But apparently the whole thing is all just VR. It's all just a simulation that the scientists are running on him just to see, like, what does any of this mean? Because they extracted from the memories of his, like, clone memories that small town Kansas means something to him. But what exactly, they can't figure out. So they're trying to figure out what that is. They're also realizing that he doesn't really have a sense of morality. Like, he's not responding to the woman burning in that building at all. So they're wondering why Superman, like, these small town Kansas things are a thing, but the morality isn't a thing. And they don't know who Superman is. They're wondering why small town Kansas is a thing for Superman as well, but they can't, like, pin it on someone. Anyway, so they feel like it's a failure because they can't figure out, like, why he doesn't have morality. So they're just striving to work harder. Enter the real Rose Wilson, who's working as an on-retainer assassin who is going to kill Superboy if he ever snaps again. So that's her whole thing, but she's just, a real person outside of the VR. She does make a comment, and don't think I didn't notice that VR version of me is a total Mary Sue. Great. We cut over to a guy named Umbar, I think? No, Umber, my bad. His name is Umber. He's just a scientist. He doesn't like what this place is doing. By the way, the place is called Nowhere. It's an acronym, Nowhere. I don't know what it means. I don't care what it means, and they don't say what it means, so we're moving on. He doesn't like that they are literally creating a Superman clone for their own nefarious purposes, so he gets in contact with Lois Lane, and it's like, here's all the stuff they're doing, Lois. Like, he doesn't give her everything, but he gives them enough to, like, damn the company or the organization or whatever the fuck it is. So he passes it on, and then we just leave that. Like, we don't get anywhere with it. The next morning, Superboy, he's brought in, and they're trying to train his telekinesis, because apparently that's just the power he has, is telekinesis. He can move stuff with his mind. The red scientist is interrupted, saying, like, hey, you're needed. She's like, no one has the authority to, like, call me up. And she's like, well, here's a name. It's Templar. Apparently he is the authority. This guy walks in. His name is Zaniel. And he's like, oh, how's Superboy going? She's like, he's not ready for whatever you want him for. And he's like, all right, well, I'm taking him. And apparently Zaniel's plan is to have him infiltrate the Teen Titans. They don't say why. They just say the Teen Titans are a problem and Superboy is the solution. And then Superboy says, well, I'm going to play along with whatever it is they want me to do so that I can finally be free. That's kind of his whole shtick, is freedom. It's not great. It's not. Like, this thing was throwing so many curveballs at me. I really like the sequence where he first, like, feels things. I really like that part where he's, like, just rapid fire. Like, he's just experiencing everything to do with life all at once. And it's just immediate, just small caption boxes, just one after another. I like that. I really do. The whole, like, Rose Wilson thing, not so much. I like the whole. It's just like a surrealist thing of him just walking by this building. This woman is screaming in a burning building. There's like every other page bounces between I like this to oh, what are you doing? It's really hard to get a track on it. As it stands though, I'm just gonna give it the average of I enjoyed the read. It set up some good things moving forward. You got the mystery of what is nowhere? Who are these people? Why are the Teen Titans an issue? The general plot beats I'm okay with. It's the dialogue itself for the most part that I'm like, okay, I don't like. Why does Rose Wilson have to be like the hot chick he walked? Why do we have to say that? That's the part that I'm like, just people don't like talk like that. But either way, I like the plot beats. Art wise, it's fine. It's pretty basic. You got some, yeah, like it's all thick outlines and nothing too mind blowing with any of it. If anything, it gets a little bit too much on the green in some places, but that's just, I think that's just the color of nowhere. That's just the aesthetic they're going for. But whatever. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I'm going to give this a 6. It's fine. It's not blowing me out of the water. That one sequence with him, like just rapid fire discovering the world, that's about the most I can praise it. Everything else is fine. I guess we'll see where it goes. I'm hoping that it isn't too much of a direct crossover with Teen Titans, because I like to keep these reviews pretty separated from each other so that you can view them individually. But hey, check out Teen Titans whenever that comes up, in case it is a very, very heavy crossover. So, yeah.